Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Zaron. Zaron.
Oh, Elizabeth.
It's me, Elizabeth
What's up,
Dutton,
girl?
lady host.
Hey, what's up, lady host?
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Just man hosting over here.
Nice.
Or sorry, gentleman hosting.
Host maxing?
Yeah, total host maxing. With a hammer in my hand, of
Love
course.
it. I love
it's the only
that
way
for
to
you.
host max.
Do you know what's ridiculous?
You just hit your temple, though. That's you.
Yes.
I do. You know, like sometimes you try to explain to somebody about like something you saw online. In my case, usually it's going to be like a skeet or a tweet or whatever, a post. And I'm like, oh, and they're not one of your friends who are ever online.
Sure.
And I'm sure you have some of those, right?
Yeah.
So, and you sound like, I sound insane, right?
Yes.
So I've now started taking screenshots so that I can show them the post that I want instead of me trying to remember it and then finding it.
Right.
So I found one that I wanted to share with you because this reminds me of our conversations about encased meats, and I often want to bring it up whenever we're talking about encased meats.
Yes.
So,
which is often.
It's far more often than my other friends. So,
well.
So the post is by C. Joyner, and it's a classic.
Yeah.
The post says, a sign in the window reads, cured meats. Inside, a salami takes his first steps since the accident. A prosciutto learns to forgive. I just absolutely love the idea of a prosciutto learning to forgive. It kills me every time. The absurdity of it,
absurd comedy is what is giving me life right now. That keeps me going.
Yeah.
God bless it.
I was at a bar that was having a birthday for a dog, and I was like trying to explain to my friend. Yeah, I didn't know the dog, but I was there at the bar when the party was going down. So I took photos of it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, what's the dog's name?" And like they pointed at the sign. I'm like, "Oh, it is pretty big. I should have seen that." It's like, "Happy birthday, lady," and I was like, "Oh."
Could have been anybody in there.
I thought that could have been pretty much anyone in here. So yeah, there you go. It's ridiculous, huh?
It is ridiculous. Do you want to know what else is ridiculous?
Would love it.
Messing with No-Show Jones.
What?
This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous.
I know you done heard that.
Oh, I done heard it.
Through the grapevine?
You and I have an affinity, not just for encased meats.
Yes.
But for outlaw country music.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
The song
Waylon
of my
Jennings,
soul.
Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Hank Williams Jr.
Oh yeah.
AKA Bo.
Not so much David Allen Coe, but all the rest.
I like David Allen Coe.
Yeah, I know.
But I like when Hank Jr. calls himself Bocephus.
Oh my God, I was about to bring that up.
Yeah.
Hell yes. I'm like,
Chris
that is...
Christopherson, he falls up in there.
Oh, 100%.
So it's
what do you call it? Jessie Coulter? I mean, let's not leave her out.
Yes. So it's a 70s subgenre of country music, in essence. Anti-establishment, rebellious, stripped down sound. Gritty,
outside of Nashville.
Yes. Gritty lyrics. It's not polished up. It's very real. These are the guys who are fighting against Nashville for the soul of country.
Yes.
They wanted to save the soul of traditionalist country. And so Willie started out with traditionalist honky tonk roadhouse.
Yeah, completely.
And then Nashville got slick and glossy. He went outlaw. Shotgun Willie.
Yeah.
So the original traditionalists are folks like Hank Williams, Buck Owens, Loretta Lynn, and Merle. I'll put Merle back into that.
Would you put Jimmy Rogers in there?
Oh, yeah, definite Jimmy Rogers. And we can't forget George Jones.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Right. So while he fell more into the traditionalist camp rather than outlaw, the guy lived the life of a country outlaw.
Yes.
Like a big old messy country outlaw.
He got them both.
Yes.
I sing like one, live like the other.
So, I want to talk about George Jones today.
Oh, my goodness. There's so
the
much.
The possum, they call him.
Yes.
Called him the possum. He's not the criminal in these stories. No. The crime just like buzzes around him like horseflies in a stable.
Oh, yeah.
His run-ins with the law were generally a product of his alcoholism, and I don't find that particularly funny or entertaining. So
we don't need to make fun of that
steering
part.
clear of all that. But let me tell you a little bit about George Jones. Let's set the stage for what's to come. George Glenn Jones, born September 12th, 1931 in Saratoga, Texas. He grew up in nearby Vidor in the piney woods of southeast Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And he was the youngest of 8 children in a working class family. And they were poor. There was all this instability because of the Great Depression.
Yeah.
His father, George Washington Jones, was an alcoholic who was sometimes violent. His mother, Clara Patterson Jones, she was musically inclined, and she really encouraged her son's early interest in singing. And so he later said that hearing gospel music in church and on the radio, especially the stuff by Roy Acuff, stirred something in him.
Okay.
And it hooked in. So by the time he was 9, he was performing on the streets of Beaumont for tips. And at 16, he left home, started playing in honky-tonks all across East Texas.
Okay.
So by 1950... he got married, got divorced. He enlists in...
He wanted to get one out just right away.
Just got to knock it out. Yeah, just a little trial run. He enlisted in the Marines during the Korean War conflict. So he was stationed in California, continued to play music when he could. He gets out in 1953, goes back to Texas, and he's like, I'm going to be a full-time musician.
Oh, my God.
Like, that's my career.
I would love to be able to just open my mouth and sing.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
It would be the most amazing thing I can imagine. He
gets a recording contract with Star Day Records in 1954 with this producer, Pappy Daly. The name's
so country.
Pappy Daly. So his early singles...
That's both country and Western.
Yeah, very much so. His early singles had that like hard-edged honky-tonk style of the period. His breakthrough came in 1955. He had a song, Why Baby Why. It was a top 10 country hit. Got him like national attention.
Oh, yeah.
And then through the late 50s, he recorded this string of like really successful singles, including White Lightning. And that became his first #1 country hit in 1959. And it has like this really driving rhythm. He has expressive kind of comedic vocals, and he shows that he can be funny and demonstrate humor, but have this like technical precision, like White Lightning.
Yeah.
So his voice quickly became like his defining instrument. He had this really wide range, incredible breath control.
Yes, like Frank Sinatra that way.
Yeah, and a gift for really, again, like Sinatra, subtle phrasing.
Phrasing, totally. That's what you can do with a great breath. You can do exactly what you want.
Exactly. So he could slide between notes in a way that, showed a lot of nuance, but he was never sappy or sentimental.
No, he had more of an ache than a sentimental quality.
Yes. So all other artists, critics, they said that many described him as the greatest male country singer of his generation.
I could totally see that.
Yeah. So his ballads were groundbreaking because they were like super conversational and intimate. And that went on to influence performers all across country and Americana music. Like
definitely.
They all are kind of riffing off
Willie
of
always talked about him when he was starting out.
So in 1966, George Jones and his band recorded at Nugget Studios. And this was this like really modest facility in north of Nashville. Musicians loved it because it was cheap and it was out in the country, like out in the middle of nowhere. So George Jones...
They can make a racket.
Yeah, exactly. Has a hit with White Lightning. He's also got a hit, She Thinks I Still Care. But people are starting to hear about his drinking troubles. And like he'd go on benders.
This is when he's becoming Possum.
Yeah, he wasn't particularly reliable in the studio or on the road, but people didn't care. They're just like, you're too good. He still sells out shows. It's kind of like, people buy a ticket to a Lauryn Hill show and they're like, she may not show up.
Very much
or
like that.
Or Morrissey. Yeah. But, I'll hang in there. So during the Nugget sessions, Jones and his musicians, they recorded a ton of songs, like tons. He did some originals, but he covered a lot of Hank Williams tunes. One of his originals was a song called Ship of Love. And it was co-written with Earl Peanut Montgomery and Johnny Paycheck.
Yeah, Johnny Paycheck.
Right? And he also sang like harmony vocals and played the bass, Johnny Paycheck did. So the recordings are produced under this agreement with Jimmy Don Enterprises.
Okay.
That is a rad hillbilly company name.
Oh, hell yeah.
So this was a business partnership between Donald Gilbreth, Don, and Jones's road manager, Jimmy Klein.
Okay.
So Jimmy Don,
naturally. So, I don't know why I thought it was one guy.
Gilbreth had known Jones for years. They worked together on music, on promo stuff, and according to documentation that was signed by Jones, the arrangement called for payment of $6,000 in exchange for recording about 130 songs. And
130, wow.
130.
That's nuts.
These would be for radio play.
Sure,
and
but
the
that's just
ownership
a lot of
rights,
songs.
Right? That's a lot. Ownership rights would go to Jimmy Don Enterprises.
Okay.
So the precise nature of the rights transfer later became unclear. Did Jones formally sell the recordings? Did he assign them outright? Or did he just straight up relinquish them because he was in a bad way with his addiction? It's not really clear. In a sworn statement years later, Klein mentioned that Jones had fully given up his interest in the recordings.
So rights and publishing.
Yeah, and they're like, why? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
Can't explain the possum.
No, you just can't. So after the 1966 sessions wrapped up and when Nugget was in everyone's rear view, the master tapes pretty much disappeared from public view. And more than a decade later, in 1979, Gilbreth, he made a friend, a fellow by the name of David Snoddy. Snoddy.
Wow.
So the two, they bonded over all these shared interests they had. Bowling. Go-kart sales.
Wait, go-kart.
You know how you meet someone and you're like, I'm into go-kart sales. They're like, no way, so am I.
Wait, when you're saying go-kart sales, you don't mean like selling go-karts. You mean a go-kart that has a sale.
No, selling go-karts.
Okay, I couldn't quite tell.
S-A-L-E-S.
The way your face was going,
the sale.
Maybe it's like a desert thing.
And commerce of go-karts.
Okay.
Go-kart dealers.
I was like, it couldn't be that easy. We're just talking about, you like to move units? Oh, I love go-karts.
Wind power. Yeah. What? So they started hanging out at an Alabama bowling alley that was managed by Gilbreth.
Why not?
And George Jones would come by sometimes and be like, what's up?
Yeah, you got a bar there, I'm sure.
Exactly. So throughout the 80s, Gilbreth and Snoddy, they became partners in all these different ventures. Vending machine operations.
Were they the Nashville Mafia?
Construction, real estate development.
Yeah.
They also leased tour buses.
Construction, so cement? Were they also in waste management?
I think so. They leased tour buses to George Jones and sometimes to Loretta Lynn.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorites.
So in addition to transportation services, they also handled the merch sales at George Jones concerts.
Of course, yeah.
And he was raking it in on merch every night.
What were they selling? Like T-shirts?
Ball caps, bumper stickers, T-shirts.
Pennants?
I feel like a George Jones bumper sticker is a surefire way to get pulled over and subjected to a breathalyzer.
Pretty much.
Just pull me over right now. Snoddy later testified that he and Gilbreth divided the profits from the merchandise sales with Jones and his band over a 3-year period.
Basically, a George Jones bumper stickers is like one of those I've been to Gillies. It's like, okay, yes. You drink and you drive.
And yeah, exactly. So whoop, whoop, light you up. So by the early 1980s, the Pals had branched out into a new transportation venture.
What is that?
Large-scale drug trafficking.
Oh, that is a transportation issue.
They moved marijuana and Colombian coke into southern states via small aircraft.
I really got the organized crime feeling from them early on.
You could sniff it out. Yeah. You did a good job.
Thank you. And I'm glad that they're keeping up with the trends in crime.
Yeah.
Like the 70s, let's get into cocaine.
Sure, exactly.
60s, we should sell pot.
Right. Now they're just carrying it over. So we're in the early 80s. Mm-hmm. Snoddy owns some of the planes.
Naturally. Oh, yeah. You want to use the small
planes?
He's got
a plane like a little buzzer, like bzz, bzz. Mm-hmm. He did a little treetop flying. One alleged associate claimed that the pair would hide drugs in the tour buses that they were leasing out to country stars.
Oh, yeah.
And Snoddy was like, lies, I tell ya. I just hope they weren't making Miss Loretta carry weight. That's just wrong.
Getting caught on the Texas scales.
That is wrong. So in late 1982, Gilbreth took over Klein's stake in the 1966 tapes, and he brought Snoddy in as a partner.
Okay.
And they tried to get a buyer for those Hank Williams covers. By the way, what's your favorite Hank Williams song?
I'm trying to think of my favorite Hank Williams song. Give me a second. What's your favorite Hank Williams song?
I think mine is You Win Again.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, they're great covers of that. Like Mike Ness does an incredible cover.
Yeah.
Grateful Dead used to cover it. Fats Domino. Fats Domino, but some say...
You're never giving that
some
one up.
say Fats Domino. Johnny Cash. Keith Richards does a weird cover.
I've never heard Keith Richards cover.
I also like Cold, Cold Heart.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Aretha in like the Muscle Shoals sessions does an incredible Cold Heart.
Yeah.
Tony Bennett's the one actually who made it popular in the first place and drew attention to it. And that drew attention to Hank. That was Tony Bennett.
Old Tony Benedetti.
God bless him.
I love it. Thank you, Tony.
So any strike your fancy?
I was thinking like You're Cheating Heart, but
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's such a tough question. Let me see if I can answer that later.
Good looking.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a fun one.
You think on it. Let it percolate.
Yeah, because I do so flippant. I hear back the episode. I'm like, that's Burnett.
Well, you'll have a chance to think on it for a second.
Yeah, let's go.
So anyway, these two bozos, they're trying to sell off the Hank covers.
Okay.
And before they could get that together, they got arrested in connection with a conspiracy to purchase tens of thousands of pounds of marijuana.
Oops.
Like, I don't think Hank done it this way. That's what I gotta say. So they posted $250,000 bond backed by real estate holdings.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there was a conviction and they appealed it and they had to satisfy their bail while they were on appeal. $1 million now. So at that stage, Gilbreth presented the George Jones tapes as collateral.
Whoa.
He said the 5 reel-to-reel tapes contained 35 live performances by George Jones and his band, and that their value was more than $1 million. And he said there were projections that, the price could go up.
Sure.
Because Jones was so legendary and like the finite nature of his recording career. I mean, we all got to go sometime.
That's what they mean.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I'm like, are they trying to say
they're
he's
like,
gonna die someday?
Right.
Then
they
the
are.
price skyrockets.
So that's it. Like, as soon as he's gone, the price will be,
they should sell
quadrupled.
art.
So the court accepted the tapes as collateral.
Unbelievable.
And both of them got temporary release pending appeal. Let's take a break.
Okay.
You think on your favorite Hank song. Yeah. When we return, the tapes.
Nice.
Zaron.
Elizabeth.
We're back.
Yeah, we are.
So have you thought a little bit more about your favorite Hank song?
I did. While you were brushing your hair during the break, I had a moment.
Are you making fun of the fact that I don't brush my hair?
No, never. Why would I do that? You caught me off guard. I'm terrible with song titles. Like, if you don't sing the song title in your song, I'm like, what's the name of that song?
Yeah.
But now he does, so I'm good there, right? And a lot of them. But I wanted to be certain because, I always feel bad. And I said earlier, You're Cheating Heart. That's probably, but I don't want to be like all maudlin, like, I'm so lonesome I could cry. It was my favorite song. So I'll go with the one that I had a lot of fun as a boy singing, which always was like, where my love of country started was just singing country with my dad driving around or dancing while he's cooking breakfast. So I'm going to go with Hey Good Looking.
So
what
good.
You got cooking? How about cooking something up with me?
Nice.
Hey
Good looking.
What?
We could just sing Hank songs for the rest of it. Ridiculous Crime is a production. So when we
Thank you for giving me that time to think about it, because I always feel like a bozo whenever I'm like,
no.
Songs I like,
it's
that
hard
one
to
in
get put
G.
on the spot, and I've been in this, working on this for a bit here. So
well, yeah, and also I hadn't thought about. I'm like, dude, that's kind of tough because they're all such different moods.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. All right, so where was I? When we left off, Gilbreth and Snotty, they got busted for drug running.
Yes.
And they needed to pay their bail while on appeal, so they put up George Jones's Nugget sessions.
Yes.
Some originals.
Is he aware of this?
No. Some originals and a bunch of Hank Williams covers. Okay. So this is in 1984.
Yes.
By 1986, they were hooked up with none other than the Medellin cartel.
With Pablo Escobar?
Yeah, they had upsized. Yes. And so this was coke running on the biggest scale imaginable. They used their planes. They got some pilots who were willing to take some risks. And sometimes it got a little squirrely with those pilots that they brought on.
Small planes with an uneven load shifting around in the back?
Exactly. Zaron, close your eyes.
What? Yes. My eyes closed.
I want you to picture it. It's February 13th, 1986. You are a U.S. Customs agent named Gary Gingrich, Not Jerry Gergich, and likely no relation to Newt Gingrich. You're a helicopter pilot. I know how much you love that. You and your partner are on a patrol ship north of the Gulf Coast. You got a report of a suspicious Cessna. The registration number came back to a David Leon Snoddy out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Turns out the guy is a known drug runner. You get eyes on the plane and begin to follow. You've just gassed up, so you're ready to track him wherever he may go. You picked him up near the Louisiana-Mississippi border. He's flying a little low and won't respond when you try and raise him on the radio. You move in closer. The pilot still won't answer you on the radio. You get closer. You're now about 10 feet behind the plane. You and your partner notice a side window open up, and then a package is flung out. It spins and flips as it topples to the ground. You are a customs agent. You know what a kilo of coke looks like. Crab apple, you shout. You don't say bad words. Down below, in the parking lot of a small Baptist church out in the woods of the Homachito National Forest, a brick of coke comes tumbling toward the earth. Taped and wrapped like a high school senior's physics class project, it bounces off the dirt of the lot without splitting open. It caroms through the air, clears a low chain-link fence, and skitters across the neat grass of the church's small cemetery. The package rolls away deep into the thick woods, where it sits to this day. You continue to follow the plane. Another brick of coke flies out the window. Then another. You continue to follow. A good bit of time goes by with still no answer from the pilot of the plane. It's just the whir of your blades and the crackle of an empty radio channel. You pull alongside the plane now. There are 2 men in there. The pilot wears large, dark aviator sunglasses and a polo shirt. The passenger's wearing a Hawaiian shirt and looks straight at you. He smiles. Then he gives you the finger. Barca lounger, you shout. You radio to the ground. The passenger just gave me the finger. They tell you to continue pursuit. You ask if they're sending up support. I mean, you're in a helicopter and you've been flying for a while now. You are, ironically, just passing over Muscle Shoals, Alabama. You've got to stop for fuel soon. You pull up beside the plane again and gesture for the pilot to answer his radio. The 2 men in the plane laugh. You gesture for him to land. Well, that's what you mean. Your partner asks, what are you trying to tell them? Land, you say. Oh, it looks like that Egyptian dance, he says. Guggenheim, you yell. The passenger in the plane flips you off once again and then opens his side window and tosses another brick of cocaine. You're just approaching Huntsville, Alabama. You radio control that you have to stop and refuel. They promise to send another flyer up to track the Cessna. You peel off and head for an airstrip. The plane keeps going. You land and a crew comes out to fill up your tank. You slam your fist on your knee. Manitoba, you yell. Your partner asks what the problem is. You tell him that you hate to not get your man. Just as they're finished, you get a message. The plane landed in Collegedale, Tennessee, just outside of Chattanooga. Chattanooga, you cry. Your partner asks, what is it this time? We're headed to Chattanooga, you tell him. Off you go, racing through the sky. When you land at Collegedale, the cops on the ground have the passenger in custody. You approach and confirm that it's the guy you saw. Not so funny now, eh, pal? You walk over and peek your head into the plane, looking back into the passenger area. A little transistor radio plays a mournful country ballad. Kilos of cocaine, wrapped tight, are stacked along the ground. You walk back over to the cops. What about the pilot? Where's he? I'd like a word with him, you say. They tell you that as soon as the plane landed, the pilot hopped out and skedaddled into the woods. They were unable to locate him. Hippopotamus! Foiled again. So the feds got Snoddy's plane full of coke. The pilot, Samuel Klaus Burchard, managed to escape and not get caught. In fact, he was featured on America's Most Wanted in 1988 as a result of this.
As a result of this?
Yes. He made it off of the airfield in Collegedale, got a friend to come pick him up and drive him to Miami. And then from there, he was believed to have gone to the Bahamas. He was never seen again. Yeah. Ever.
I'm sure he's never came back to America if he could help it.
Sure. So
you can still fly coke around.
Because he'd been smuggling cocaine and other drugs since the early 70s. He had connections all over the place.
And I'm hoping some savings.
Probably. I hope.
Also, around this same time, if I'm not mistaken, it could have been these guys, but Pablo Escobar found out that Waylon was like doing his blow, and he had to like kilos sent directly, and the FBI ended up tracking a shipment that went directly from Pablo
It could have
Escobar
been these guys.
to Waylon Jennings.
That kind of makes sense.
So I'm just wondering how long that they were paying attention.
Exactly. So the pilot, he gets indicted along with 40 other members of this smuggling ring, and that included Snoddy and Gilbreth.
Okay.
And that was May of 1986. There had been this year-long undercover operation to bust what was a $1 billion operation at that time.
I bet.
So following the new charges, bond gets revoked. The nugget tapes, remember those, they get returned to the men's attorney who acknowledged retrieving them in 1986. And he later stated that acting under instructions from his clients, he sold the recordings for $28,000.
What?
To cover mounting legal expenses.
Sure.
And it was only a fraction of their value.
That's what I was going to say. That was
$28 grand.
Like,
They're saying it was $1 million.
Yeah.
So in 1987, both Gilbreth and
It's
Snoddy...
like selling a car for a book of stamps.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I need to send this postcard.
Yes, exactly. They get convicted in the cocaine case in 1987. Gilbreth gets out in 1992 after cooperating against a cartel figure.
Ooh.
I know, right? It was brave.
So he wasn't out long.
Yeah. Snoddy got free in 1993, but then he went back to prison for something else, and then he got released in 2015.
Okay.
Now, unexpectedly, in 2014, a Louisiana court found some of the Jones tapes stored in a bank vault that had been used for court collateral decades earlier. Because only Gilbreth had been formally listed as the owner when the tapes were pledged, the court released them to his estate following his 2005 death.
Okay.
There was no will in place. A Tennessee court appointed Dwayne Maddox III as the estate administrator. He transferred the tapes to a Tennessee bank vault where they remain unplayed.
Huh.
And then it gets, transferred over. It just bounces all over the place.
Did he know what they were? Or did he think, they got some reel-to-reel tapes?
I guess. Snoddy, whose co-ownership had never been formally recorded, successfully pursued a legal claim to shared ownership in 2018. Then 2020, George Jones's sons find out about the tapes.
Thank you. I was wondering when the family would hear about these.
They sued Snoddy and the Gilbreth estate. They disputed the ownership rights, and they questioned the validity and the scope of that original 1966 contract.
Totally.
So they said even if it's enforceable, the agreement seemed to restrict usage only to radio broadcast. So not like records and not... April of 2022, a federal court in Tennessee...
You can play it on FM and AM. Right, that's about it.
So that's their suit, right? April of 2022, a federal court in Tennessee dismissed the suit for lack of jurisdiction. So decades of legal maneuvering. We still don't know what's on the tapes.
No one's heard them?
No one has publicly verified whether they contain the labeled master recordings of the 1966 performances, or if that old magnetic tape could survive being digitized.
Wow.
It's so fragile at this point. So a judge previously noted concerns
as long as it's
that
not heat damage, I bet.
The judge was like, look, there are these concerns that exposure to magnetic or electrical interference could permanently erase them. And Snoddy and the Gilbreth estate, they want to market it, but Jones's sons are like, no, you can't make money off of this. Like, we need to get this all settled. So
good for them.
Let's go back to 1969.
Let's, Elizabeth.
That's when George Jones married Tammy Wynette.
The age of Aquarius.
Yes.
It's the age of Aquarius.
Tammy was a huge country star in her own right.
Tammy Wynette.
Tammy
and
Wynette.
Their duets, George.
Oh, yeah.
Forget about it, son.
Their partnership became one of country music's most commercially successful and publicly scrutinized marriages.
Honey, hush.
Honey. They divorced in 1975. And so George's personal struggles really escalated in the 70s.
A lot of the craziest stories, come from there.
Alcohol, cocaine addiction would disrupt the recording sessions, the tour schedules. He was notorious within the industry for missing concerts, and that got him the nickname No-Show Jones.
Yes. You know that Waylon Jennings talking about the time he had to basically tie a rope and tie George Jones to a tree.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's what we're talking, he was a willful.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. A country boy.
There you go. Thank you.
So He started to have more and more financial problems because he wasn't showing up for these paid performances.
Oh, yeah. He's going to do what he's going to do.
His erratic behavior became legendary. And then there's the often retold story that he once rode a riding lawnmower to a liquor store after Tammy Wynette hid his car keys.
I was trying not to bring that one up because we said up top, but 100%. One of my favorite stories of all country music history, just because of the choice of like I was saying, he's willful. He's like, I'm going to get there. I'll take my rod mower.
And I'll get on the John Deere and I'll head down there. So despite these setbacks.
I mean, just see, like, driving.
But you know what?
How many people drove past him and didn't give him a ride?
I've seen that. When I lived down south,
I bet.
I saw someone take a riding mower to the liquor store.
Totally.
It was a thing.
See, in California, it's like, oh, you're riding a little girl's bike or whatever.
It's totally the little girl's bike. So despite all these setbacks, George Jones continued to record really important work. And in 1980, he released He Stopped Loving Her Today.
Oh, wow, that song.
Produced by Billy Sherrill. The song,
there's that ache I'm talking about.
Somber narrative about lifelong devotion ending only in death. And that became the defining recording of his career. He Stopped Loving Her Today. If you haven't heard it, you got to listen to it. It won multiple awards, is frequently cited by critics and other artists as one of the greatest country songs ever recorded.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so the performance revitalized his reputation and also introduced him to this whole new generation of listeners. So in 1983, he married Nancy Sepulvedo, and she became a total stabilizing force in his life and in his career. And so with her support, he got sober, rebuilt his professional standing, and he credited her. In 1980s and like early 90s, he had all this renewed touring success.
Can you imagine both the strength and will you'd have to meet George Jones and overcome him? And then the kindness you also have to meet. She has to be one of the hardest and softest people ever made.
Exactly. And just like a rock.
Yeah.
You know? He had all these other hits, Still Doing Time, I Always Get Lucky with You. He gets into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1992. And in April of 2013 is when he passed away. And Nancy wanted to sell, they had this huge estate in Tennessee, Country Gold, it was called. She wanted to sell it when he passed away. During that summer, a guy named Kirk West toured the property. He presented himself like this seasoned investor. He wanted to buy it. There was no deal that came about, but he starts buzzing around. He's like 2 decades younger than she is.
Is he handsome?
No.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see. Anyway.
I was wondering if he's like trying to be like a charmer.
Who is Kirk? I mean, for some ladies would probably look at him and be like, that's a handsome man.
Are we talking about like one of those like, handsome good old boy, like, con men types who's coming around? That's what I'm kind of imagining.
I'd say so, but like a little bit like schlubbier.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, who is Kirk West? That's our big question.
West?
Let's take a break. And when we come back, I shall tell you.
Hell yeah.
Zaron.
Yo, Elizabeth.
Zaron, who is Kirk West?
Elizabeth, I have been wondering who Kirk West is ever since you mentioned his name.
I know, me too.
And possibly before.
I was hoping you could tell me because I have nothing else on here. Let's find out. Let's join them.
Who is Kirk West?
Quest.
Kirkland West.
He was born Kirk Leipzig. He was raised in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And he initially worked as a grocery store manager before he reinvented himself as a career placement consultant.
What?
Yeah. I need a new career.
Oh.
Let me talk to this guy.
So he's like essentially like a headhunter and life coach?
Yeah. Oh, God, the whole life coach thing. By the early 2000s, he had relocated to Nashville.
Naturally, that's where the action was.
He had all these different business names. The most notable one, J.L. Kirk Associates.
Oh, literally a bunch of different names. Like, oh yeah, welcome to Kirk America.
Oh, yeah. He had like a bunch of LLCs.
Home of the fine unfurnished furniture.
He had all these different explanations of why it was J.L. Kirk Associates. And sometimes he, was like, well, it's either Jesus Lord or Jesus Loves.
He needs a Matthew McConaughey. Just live in Kirk.
Just live in Kirk. Exactly. So in 2007, this blogger, Catherine Coble in Tennessee, publicly criticized his firm. Apparently, her husband got an unsolicited call promising executive level employment with his firm.
With his firm?
Yes.
With JKL?
With JK, it was Just Keep Living. He had to pay some fees up front first.
Yes.
$5,000.
Sorry, JLK. Matthew McConaughey threw me.
Yeah, Jesus Loves Kirk.
Yeah, exactly. It's easier to remember that way.
He had to pay $5,000 in fees up front.
Oh, he had to pay $5,000.
Yeah, in order to get executive level employment. There were just some upfront fees.
This sounds like a modeling scam for children.
Totally.
We need to give a couple lessons.
They're like, don't worry, you can put it on a credit card. We accept credit cards, $5,000. Ignore all the red flags. She said she described the intake process as aggressive and manipulative rather than constructive. Lady, come on.
Yes.
I can't help you through everything. Think about this. So after she published her account, West, so she goes and blogs it out. She's like, I'm going to blog all over this. You're going to regret this.
When she found her way out of the public restroom she was stuck in for 3 days.
They won't let me reverse the charges on this credit card. So West's attorney sent a cease and desist and threatened legal actions.
Okay.
So what did she do? She posted the letter on her blog.
Oh.
Yeah. And so there's all this public commentary. By the year's end, West had closed his office.
Wow. That's far more effective than I thought.
And then in local media reports, the Better Business Bureau,
not the BBB,
had received numerous complaints. And that's the end of that.
That was it, period.
Who cares?
A lot of upset.
West, he went on to promote himself as a real estate investor, specializing in distressed properties.
Okay.
And so he somehow gets this favorable profile in Forbes.
Oh.
And it highlights these rapid home flips.
You can pay for those.
I know. With huge profits. He's like, I'm flipping, back and forth. Slap it up, flip it.
Rub it down. Oh no, new home sales.
And so he uses all this. He gets all this credibility with prospective investors. According to Forbes, quote, West boasted about flipping 2 homes within 6 weeks, making nearly $500,000 in profit. The spread became a calling card for West, referring potential investors to the flattering piece as proof of both his trustworthiness and track record.
So I say it's neither. I'm just going to go with the opposite of what he said.
Yeah,
so.
Over time, lawsuits start stacking up. Investors are like, we gave him money, he bought the properties, then he resold them and didn't tell us that he had sold them. They think they're still just on the market sitting there.
He bought the properties with our money.
Yeah.
And then he sold them and he kept all the money.
According to Rolling Stone, quote, after reading West's Forbes article, a couple who'd been in touch with West withdrew from their retirement fund.
Oh, no.
Used a portion of their savings and borrowed money from their adult son to invest $150,000 in a home West was flipping in August of 2010. Allegedly promised a double return, they learned West sold the house a year later and never shared the profits. Only after confronting him did they manage to recoup $115,000, filing suit for the remaining $35,000.
Yikes.
This is so that case eventually gets dismissed because they started missing deadlines on it. So, anyway. Financial institutions, other entities, they start suing him too. He has all these unpaid debts. He owed a local paper money for ads that he ran. Mercedes-Benz was
for 2 months of his subscription.
Basically, Mercedes-Benz was like, we need to talk. You owe us $30,000 in car payments.
He leasing or bought?
At leasing.
Oh.
Even his attorney sued him after the property that he was renting entered foreclosure.
Okay.
Also from Rolling Stone magazine, quote, even West's own attorney sued him. Scott Johansson said he successfully fought off several fraud litigation claims against West, but after the house Johansson was living in, which he rented from West, suddenly went into foreclosure, he filed suit in February of 2014. Johansson listed 7 alleged Ponzi schemes West was involved in between November 2011 and August 2013. He alleged West followed the same pattern in each instance. After West was, quote, threatened by an attorney with a civil law action and potential criminal prosecution for allegedly orchestrating and participating in a Ponzi scheme, Johansson claimed, West would settle with monies borrowed and or otherwise secured for one or more third parties.
So I have to wonder about Johansson.
Yeah.
As the lawyer who knows what he's defending, he seems like, and then he decides like, I'm going to rent a house from this guy who's like scamming everybody. He won't scam me.
He won't scam me. No.
This leopard won't eat my face.
I'm a special baby. So the case becomes moot because West declared bankruptcy.
Okay.
He's like, sorry. Personally, like the guy had been married multiple times. And then court records show like he had all these child support disputes. There was infidelity alleged and abuse in one of the divorces. There was an order of protection. His ex-wife accused him of harassment. He had a misdemeanor charge for violating the order, but it got dropped.
Is there anything not gross about him?
No, family members, it gets worse. Family members described that he had like 2 different personas.
Okay.
He had like this publicly affable religious side.
Of course.
And then the private, controlling, volatile partner.
Okay, once again, see my previous answer.
So Rolling Stone spoke with his former stepdaughter, Alicia Porter.
Okay.
Quote, he was also a cheater, Porter claims. He told my mom that he was going on a spiritual retreat and she followed him to the airport and found another woman's luggage tag and that he was taking the woman on a $10,000 vacation on their anniversary, Porter says.
Maybe he had plans to see God with that woman.
I bet he did.
God. God.
All sorts of exes tell similar stories.
I'm sure.
He'd overwhelm him, love bomb him, shower him with gifts, help around the house. He targeted like single moms who were struggling. Straight up predator. Then he'd turn and like get mean and violent. Basically, he was a piece of
I hate this guy.
He was a piece of
I heard you.
Yeah, I'm going to say it one more time. No. 2015.
I mean, did I not blush?
He has all these like lawsuits, all this stuff. He legally changed his name from Leipzig. And in the court documents, he listed his reason as, quote, don't like my name, always misspelled, too hard. And that's when he became Kirk West. So in April of 2013, that's when he met Nancy Jones. She wanted to sell Country Gold, the 9,600 square foot home on 80 acres that she shared with George Jones.
How did their circles intersect?
I'm about to tell you. I can just imagine George Jones coming back and tuning this guy up.
Like just bending a golf club over his head.
When West went to look at Country Gold, do you know who was with him?
No.
Jamie Spears, father of Britney Spears.
That scumbag?
As researcher Marissa said, quote, this is entirely unexplained, but seems to track.
Yeah, exactly. Birds of a feather.
I mean, so she's got
together.
It on the market and he goes as a real estate investor.
Okay.
And he's like, he presents himself as this quiet, God-fearing man.
So he just gets a home tour and she has to be the one who's there.
Yeah, and Nancy, she's religious. And so that was really appealing to her. He laid it on thick. He gained her friendship and her trust. Per Rolling Stone, quote.
Will you pray with me, sister?
Oh, my God. Quote, Nancy had been distraught when the honky-tonk crooner died, and she cherished what seemed to be a genuine friendship with West in the immediate months after Jones's death that quickly blossomed into romance.
Oh, my God. I'm gritting my teeth so hard.
Yeah, friends of hers were suspicious that he targeted Nancy because she was vulnerable and wealthy.
Yes.
Quote,
he's a sleazeball.
Quote, I never trusted him, an old friend of Nancy's who knew the couple for more than a decade, tells Rolling Stone. George had just passed, and all of a sudden, this guy shows up hanging around with Nancy. It's kind of obvious what he was looking for. It seems to me that he was just looking for the widow's money, but he's hung around for a long time. I guess he was playing the long game. And he's a guy that reads obituaries and preys on people, said one former ex-girlfriend.
What?
And I'm fairly confident that's how he managed to get in touch with Nancy.
Oh my goodness. So I've heard about people reading obituaries trying to find like a rent controlled apartment in New York. And I was like, oh, that's a good angle. But like, this is like
looking for
Just next level, like just cruising the Nashville widow scene and like going, who's got money
This
in
is
country?
the lowest.
Yeah.
But she seemed happy. So her friends decided to mind their own business. But in October of 2014, they did run a background check on him.
Thank goodness.
They found over a dozen like state and federal lawsuits filed against him, Wisconsin, Tennessee. They didn't tell Nancy about the background check.
It's just for gossip.
A friend said,
Pass it around.
a friend said, quote, time went by and she was still with him. I just let it be. I never showed it to her because it seemed like she was happy.
No.
It's tough. I will say, though,
friend.
it is tough in those situations when you see someone in Nancy's type of position, like bad relationship, whatnot, because a lot of times if you do say something, either the person won't listen or they'll get defensive and start to pull away.
But then, I understand it like that. But if you have receipts.
But even then, if they start to pull away, you won't be able to see when things get really bad. Like you're in such a tough spot.
I totally agree. But I'm saying, but can't you have the conversation if you've got pages of lawsuits and civil complaints and like?
But you know, these predator guys, they have answers at the ready. Yeah. So within weeks of their meeting, now remember, he shows up like, oh yeah, I'm a real estate investor.
Yeah, I want to buy.
He's like, I have to tell you something, Nancy. I'm broke. So she's like, you know what? I will help you. She moves him into the home in a separate wing of the estate.
This is breaking.
And she later said, you know, it was totally platonic at first, but then it became intimate. And from early on, and they're like, 20-something years difference.
Just like Zendaya and Tom Holland, lovers, friends to lovers.
Friends to lovers, exactly.
It's a classic story,
It is
Elizabeth.
classic.
I'm going to yank my tongue out and wrap it around my throat and pull real tight. Don't mind me.
So from early on, she financed their lifestyle.
Of course she did.
They went on these like fancy tropical vacations.
Oh
she bought him a new Mercedes to replace the other one.
You said 20 years separates them.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea of like where those 20 years are located?
No.
Like, is it like 70 to 50, 40 to 60?
I don't know. I'm going to guess probably like 70 to 50, 60 to
somewhere in there,
40,
like say 65,
like
45.
Yeah, something like
Split
that.
the difference.
In late 2013, jewelry went missing from Nancy's safe, and police identified West as a suspect. But the matter was closed without resolution. Over time, she
didn't want to press charges.
Yeah. He then starts taking on more and more roles in her business affairs.
Oh, no.
So he helped Nancy make the George Jones Museum in Nashville a reality.
Okay.
There was a restaurant, event space, roof deck bar, and of course a gift shop. I would certainly hope they sold the bumper stickers there. West became the general manager and he worked in the restaurant. Nancy worked as a waitress and she cleaned the toilets.
Wait. I'm going to need you to back up. He's the manager in the restaurant. And she's cleaning toilets of her own volition in the place that she owns.
I know. George Jones was looking down on all this and was absolutely steaming.
I'm sure he insisted on being reincarnated just so he could have time to come beat this guy up. Give me a couple years, just enough to learn to walk.
So then Nancy made a deal with Concord Bicycle Music.
Okay.
They bought George Jones's music catalog for $30 million in 2016.
In 2016. That seems like a crazy discount.
Yeah. In the paperwork for the sale, West is listed as secretary for the record company and business manager for the estate. And then
he double booked the sale.
That same year, West gets arrested on federal bank fraud charges. Prosecutors say that he falsified income and net worth figures. He submitted forged documents, all in order to get mortgages. And he made himself look like a high-earning investor and not a predator who scams vulnerable women. So he pleaded guilty. He received a sentence that included house arrest and around $1 million in restitution.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy paid the legal expenses.
Oh, my God.
Advanced the funds to satisfy the restitution obligations. He's like, I will pay you back. Zaron, he never paid her back.
No kidding.
Yeah. And then West told others that I was able to pay it back because she and I did a lot of good investing together.
I don't understand how you go from I can hang with the possum to I can get worked by this bozo.
Uh-huh. So during house arrest, West got super into crypto.
Oh my goodness.
So he encouraged Nancy to buy a bunch of cryptocurrency, Doge, and Ethereum. Those are like the big ones.
This guy.
In a sworn affidavit, Nancy said, quote, Mr. West volunteered to access my accounts with crypto trading platforms in light of his assertion that I was far too inexperienced. Each investment was funded by assets transferred from my personal bank accounts and was performed by Mr. West on my behalf and for my benefit. In 2025, she finds out that West is hooked up with another lady who has just publicly announced their engagement. According to Rolling Stone, quote, in late April 2025, the woman posted a video of a massive oval-cut diamond ring marking herself engaged on Facebook. It was Facebook official,
Facebook
y'all.
Official. Like, this is so...
That's how you really send out good announcements, Facebook. So after...
I don't know if I can grind my teeth any harder.
They're going to come spraying out of the side of your face. After confronting him, Nancy had her granddaughter help her secure her valuables. Mm-hmm. And they found that there was $400,000 in cash missing from a safe in the house.
And does she even know what all of her valuables are at this point, since he's got some of it in crypto? I mean, like,
well,
honestly.
And also, how much cash do you have in the safe in the house?
$400,000 missing.
Worse,
stacks of
worse
bills.
Though, you know what else was missing from the safe? A ledger containing more than $11 million in cryptocurrency.
There you go.
Was gone from the safe.
That was,
that
all
was it.
The wallet keys
there
that she
goes
wouldn't
the wallet
understand.
Keys. Yep. So she filed a police report. Then she hired forensic specialists to come trace the assets. West calls her up and is like, I'll give you some of the crypto back. I'll give you $5 million.
He's willing to make a deal.
And he's like, the rest is mine. Because it's mine.
Because they were months.
According to Rolling Stone, quote, what happened next is unclear. West says Jones agreed to split their assets evenly so he would move out of the house. Jones's lawsuit does not mention such an agreement. None of the traditional assets were divided between them when West left.
Doesn't she?
I know.
Like, all you need is like two good roadies.
Well, and then
you can get this done with two good roadies.
Call in Jimmy Don. It became pretty obvious that West was going to make a break for it. Like, he's going to run.
I'm surprised he's still in the country.
Sure enough, authorities arrested him at an airport.
Yep.
July of 2025. He had a one-way ticket to the Philippines.
The Philippines.
And he was with a lady friend.
Of course.
Yeah. So charged with felony theft, he pleaded not guilty. He did 2 weeks in county while he worked and weaseled to get his bail reduced from $1 million to $400,000. He's looking at 15 to 60 years. So it's pending. Nancy subsequently filed suit seeking recovery of the cryptocurrency. Her complaint characterizes West's conduct as consistent with this pattern of exploiting affluent women through charm and the appearance of financial success. This is what it says in the suit. Quote, it was West's well-established modus operandi to use his looks, gentlemanly manners, and veneer of a successful real estate career to exploit wealthy, potentially vulnerable women. And she's being generous with the whole looks thing.
Okay, I was wondering, but I mean, he sounds like this is a very classic, like, dating back to when I was a kid.
He's just an average dude.
About like carpet bagging Southerners in the post Civil War period coming down and like romancing some Civil War widow and getting the whole plantation. Like, this has been long
basically what has happened.
Story.
Yes. In early 2026, West countersued. He said that their assets had been combined and that he's entitled to half of certain holdings, including cryptocurrency, $5 million in gold and silver, and $1 million in cash. And then he also, part of his lawsuit was reputational harm and defamation.
Sir.
Ma'am. No, ma'am. That's when I swat him on the nose. No, ma'am. The litigation remains ongoing.
I'd bury him under the Wendy's.
So, Zaron.
Sir, you are under a Wendy's.
So, Zaron, what's your ridiculous takeaway?
I hope the ghost of George Jones catches up to him as soon as he's behind bars and can't get away and spends all of his nights just like getting whispered to till he goes mad or till his cellmate just, like helps him find heaven.
This guy.
Like, what the? Like, I cannot believe, I don't know. You know me, I'm not a big fan of taking it. Like, I don't mind con men in particular, because I understand, but I like it when they go for fat cats, when they get somebody who's full of himself and they, the hoist it on the petard bit. Like, I'm okay with like robbing a Rockefeller, but if you're going and robbing the widow of a country music legend.
I mean, and she's wealthy, whatever, but he's a predator.
But that's what I'm saying. And also, she's very vulnerable.
She's vulnerable.
The Rockefeller ain't vulnerable. He's just a fool. Like, you can rob a rich fool and I may applaud, but you rob like a rich, vulnerable person who is grieving essentially when they first meet.
Yes, exactly.
And feeling lonely and low, and you're like, oh, I can fill that hole in your heart.
My takeaway,
What's
thanks
yours,
for
Elizabeth?
asking, is that I love that you got me so mad on Tuesday, and now today I got you so mad.
That is, how do we do this?
That's fun. Well,
like,
we have a lot of pent up rage that we're just directing.
We have like this weird in sync quality, like, like two college women who like, get on the same period cycle. It's like you become roommates. You're like, I don't know. We're on the same cycle.
We do tend to,
week after week we go through, and like this week apparently was, let's rage bait the other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there it is. I think I need to talk back.
Talk back. Oh my God, did he just say that?
OMG.
Hey guys, Scott from Hickory, North Carolina here. So I actually have lyrics to your theme song. Here it goes. Zaron and Elizabeth, crimes that are ridiculous, 99% murder-free. Elizabeth hates furries. Rude dudes are here. Who knows, who cares? Love you guys.
Wait, I love that so much.
Bravo.
That is so good.
Bellissimo. That was incredible, brother.
That was amazing.
And also, by the way, you can sing. I mean, like, I heard the song.
Dang,
like,
right? That was good.
Yeah.
Timing's good.
Totally.
Oh, man, what a
creative,
voice.
nice.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Quite the honor.
That's it for today. You can find us online at ridiculouscrime.com. We're also at Ridiculous Crime on both Blue Sky and Instagram. We're on YouTube at Ridiculous Crime Pod. You can email us at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. Most importantly, as always, leave us a talkback on the free iHeart app. Reach out. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by Dave, the lonesome fugitive Kustin. Starring Annalise Rutger as Judith. Research is by Marissa Haas-Brown and Jabari Tater Davis. The theme song is by Thomas the Gambler Lee and Travis Bocephus Dutton. Host wardrobe is provided by Botany 500. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkleshot and Mr. Andre. Executive producers are Ben, the coal miner's daughter Bolin, and Noel, the hillbilly Shakespeare Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.